Little storyteller.
Barnaby the gnome, with his bright red hat and a beard like spun white sugar, dusted the petals of a giant sunflower. Nearby, Pip, a smaller gnome with overalls the color of blueberries, chased a fuzzy bumblebee. Suddenly, a tiny voice cried, "Help! Help!" Barnaby and Pip looked around. Perched on a bright red poppy, a little ladybug with 7 black spots fluttered her wings, sadly. "I've lost my way," she cried. "The wind blew me far from my family." Barnaby stroked his beard thoughtfully. "Don't worry, little one," he said. "We'll help you." Pip nodded eagerly, his blueberry overalls bobbing. "But how?" he wondered, looking at the tall grass that seemed like a jungle to the tiny ladybug. Barnaby spotted a long flat leaf that had fallen from a nearby tree. "A seesaw!" he exclaimed. He and Pip carefully carried the leaf to a sturdy twig lying on the ground. They balanced the leaf on the twig. "Now," Barnaby said, "one of us needs to go on one side, and the ladybug can go on the other. When we jump off, she'll fly up high enough to see her way home." Pip, being the lighter gnome, hopped onto one end of the leaf. The ladybug carefully crawled onto the other. Barnaby took a deep breath and jumped onto Pip's side of the seesaw. Thump! Pip flew up a little, and the ladybug zoomed even higher. She looked around, her tiny antennae twitching. "I see them!" she shouted happily. Over by the big bluebell, she waved a tiny leg at Barnaby and Pip. "Thank you," and with a flutter of her spotted wings, she flew towards the bluebell. Barnaby and Pip watched her go, their faces beaming. Just then, Rosie the rabbit, with fur as fluffy as a dandelion, hopped over. "That was clever," she said, twitching her nose. "You helped your friend by working together." Barnaby smiled. "That's right, Rosie. Teamwork makes even big problems seem small." Pip nodded in agreement, and even a simple seesaw can be a big help. Visual concept: a wide shot of a sunny garden. Barnaby, a gnome with a long white beard and red hat, is dusting a large yellow sunflower. Pip, a smaller gnome in blue overalls, is playfully chasing a bumblebee. A red poppy is in the foreground with a tiny lost ladybug on it, looking distressed. The style should be bright and colorful, 3D animation, appealing to young children. Visual concept: close-up on the ladybug on the poppy, looking sad. Her wings are slightly drooped, and her antennae are pointing downwards. The focus should be on her small size compared to the flower. The 3D animation should highlight her glossy shell and distinct 7 spots. Visual concept: medium shot showing Barnaby pointing to a large flat green leaf on the ground. Pip is looking at it with curiosity. The background shows tall blades of grass, emphasizing the challenge for the small ladybug. The lighting should be soft and natural. Visual concept: low-angle shot showing Barnaby and Pip carefully carrying the large leaf. They are working together, their expressions showing concentration. The sturdy brown twig is visible on the ground where they will place the leaf. The scale should emphasize the size of the leaf relative to the gnomes. Visual concept: side view of the seesaw in action. Pip is on one end, his body lifted slightly in the air with a surprised but happy expression. The ladybug is on the other end, flying upwards. Barnaby is just jumping off his side of the leaf with a determined look. The background should be slightly blurred to focus on the action. Visual concept: close-up on the ladybug in mid-air, looking happy and pointing with a tiny leg towards a cluster of large bluebell flowers in the distance. The animation should show her wings fluttering gently. Visual concept: medium shot showing Barnaby and Pip watching the ladybug fly away, their faces full of joy and accomplishment. Rosie the rabbit, with soft white fluffy fur, is hopping towards them, looking impressed. The background shows a sunny garden with various colorful flowers. Visual concept: close-up of Barnaby, Pip, and Rosie looking at each other and smiling. A gentle light shines on them. Text appears at the bottom of the screen. Teamwork makes our dreams work. The font should be clear and easy for young children to read.
Please subscribe. Thank you.